Kahane. Defining a disease. Huntington's disease is a hereditary illness that affects certain neurological functions, which mainly in the brain. The symptoms which worsen over time are uncontrolled movements, which is chorea, unusual body positions, and changes in behavior, emotion, judgment, and cognition, making you far less in control of yourself and far less likely to make logical decisions. People with Huntington's disease also develop impaired coordination, slurred speech, and difficulty feeding and swallowing. This is due to the disease actively killing neurons in certain areas of the brain which affect these functions. You see here. Frequency and diagnosis. In America, over 30,000 people have the disease. 35,000 have some of the symptoms, and 75,000 have the abnormal gene. For some of the European ancestry, it affects 3 to 7 per 100,000 people. It does not affect populations of African, Japanese, or Chinese descent as much. Every child of a parent with Huntington's has a 50% chance of inheriting the faulty gene. Genetic tests to find out if someone has the disease sees how many repeats are of CAG in the HTT gene. This is important as 28 or less repeats, meaning no disease, or 40 or more, meaning you do have the disease. Disease cause. The gene that was affected is called HTT, which is located in chromosome 4. The mutation that causes Huntington's disease is known as CAG trinucleotide repeat expansion mutation. It is a frameshift mutation that changes how many times CAG is repeated. Mutation repeats the nucleotide CAG too many times in the transcript, with too many of them causing the disease. Actual gene functions and disease effect on function. A HTT gene creates a protein called huntingtin. The actual effect of the protein is unknown. However, we know it is important for neuron creation and development before birth. Disease affects the protein by unnaturally elongating it, cut into smaller pieces. HTT gene variants. Number 1 for the number 1, where it goes from NA, TCT, TCG, UCU to UCG, etc., on and so forth, does not change amino acid. Therefore, it is a non-pathogenic mutation. Therefore, it does not change the ultimate effect of the gene transcript. The second one is also non-pathogenic because it also does not change the amino acid, and it's a silent mutation as well. The third one is pathogenic because it changes the amino acid, therefore changing the chromosome, causing a missense mutation. Therefore, it is pathogenic. The fourth one is also pathogenic because it changes the amino acid, causing missense mutation, changes it to polar, and therefore it is pathogenic. Inheritance pattern. The type of inheritance pattern for Huntington's disease is autosomal dominant. Each child has a 50% chance they inherit the gene from the affected parent. Through meiosis, the affected gene, by dividing into 2 chromosomes, affects 2 of the children. The gametes are mutated, making sure that the mutated gene is passed on. Prognosis and treatment. There is no actual treatment of the Huntington's disease that stops the progression of it. Tetrabenazine and deutetrabenazine can treat chorea associated with HD. There are drugs to treat depression and anxiety. Side effects vary but include fatigue, sedation, and decreased concentration, restlessness, or hyperexcitability. Most people die within 10 to 30 years of getting the disease. There is gene therapy, and will be explained in the next slide. Gene therapy in early stages of Huntington's disease. The article is on Science Daily, source of Johns Hopkins Medicine. We can start to track the success of gene therapy before the onset of symptoms. Due to this testing, we can know if the disease is coming along before people get it, which is in their 40s and 50s. We tested it on mice by showing if they had the disease, then using CRISPR to edit genomes, they tried to slow down the disease project. By putting it early, the mice show that there is a way to find out if you have this disease before you get it, which is very important in getting good treatment. And these are my citations. This is for all of my citations, including the images.